You know, there's a war being fought inside your home every single day. You probably don't see it, but you definitely feel the consequences when things go wrong. It's this high stakes battle between your home's most important defender and the climate, literally right outside your door.
Come on, we've all been there, right? It's the hottest day of the year, it's 95 degrees, the humidity is just crushing, and then suddenly, silence. The cool air just dies. It's so easy to chalk that up to just plain bad luck. But what if I told you it's not luck at all? What if it's the totally predictable end of a long, drawn-out siege?
And that's the whole point. This isn't just a machine malfunctioning. No way. Think of it more like a relentless assault from the outside world, right on your home's front lines. Your air conditioner, your HVAC system, it's literally fighting a war against your local climate. And trust me, that war has very specific casualties. All right, so to really understand this battle, first you gotta know the enemy. We're going to use Riverview, Florida as our case study here and break down the climate's 4 primary weapons. These are the forces your system is up against day in and day out. Okay, first up is the most obvious weapon, right? The heat. Just relentless heat. In a place like Riverview, the AC doesn't really get a season off. I mean, it's running almost nonstop from March all the way through November, cycling thousands of times in that punishing 95-degree heat. This constant, never-ending demand, that's the first wave of the assault. And then there's weapon number 2, humidity. This isn't just about feeling sticky, you know? It's a force that makes 95 degrees feel like 110. And all that intense moisture, it creates the absolute perfect breeding ground for algae and slime to grow inside your system's drain lines. It's basically an attack from within. The third weapon is, well, it's sudden and it's violent. Lightning. Did you know the Tampa Bay area is the lightning capital of the US? It's true. And a single nearby strike can send a massive power surge screaming through the grid, putting your HVAC-sensitive electronics directly in the line of fire. And the final weapon? This one's slow, it's insidious, it's salt. See, being just 15 miles from Tampa Bay means the air is just filled with this corrosive salt. And that salty air is constantly blanketing the outdoor unit, quietly just eating away at the metal coils and copper lines. It's the kind of damage you won't even see until it's way too late. Okay, so there you have it. The 4 weapons: heat, humidity, lightning, and salt. They are constantly on the attack. So now let's connect the dots and look at how they cause the most common system failures. Remember, these are not random breakdowns. They're the predictable casualties of this climate war. That constant operation from the brutal heat, it leads directly to this, a failed capacitor. These little guys are absolutely essential. They give the motors for the compressor and the fan that jolt they need to get started. All that nonstop cycling in the Florida heat, it literally wears them out. This is one of the most common reasons your AC suddenly just won't kick on. In the humidity, its impact is all internal. So here's what happens. Your AC is pulling all this moisture out of the air, right? And it creates this constant flow of water down a little drain line. Well, inside that dark, wet pipe, algae and slime just love to grow. They flourish. Eventually, you get a clog. The water has nowhere to go, so it backs up, a little safety switch trips, and boom, your whole system just shuts itself down. Now, here's what those lightning storms can do. A power surge can just completely fry the system's brain. That's the electronic control board. All of a sudden, your thermostat is blank, or the unit is just completely unresponsive. And this is a costly repair. We're talking several $100s, all from a single jolt of electricity. And finally, that sneaky salt air. Over time, that corrosive atmosphere creates these teeny, tiny, pinhole-sized leaks in the refrigerant coils. The refrigerant slowly escapes, and your system starts to lose its ability to cool. So what does it do? It runs longer and harder to try and keep up, which of course just accelerates all the other failures. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, I know. The situation seems pretty grim, right? But hey, knowing the enemy is half the battle. So now that we know what we're up against, let's talk about a defense plan. This is how you fight back and help your system survive this war. A really key part of your strategy is knowing when to pull the plug, when to repair versus when it's time to replace. A great guideline here is called the $5,000 rule. It's pretty simple. Just multiply the unit's age in years by the cost of the repair. If that number is over 5,000, it's probably time to start looking at a new system.
So for example, say you have a 12-year-old unit and a $500 repair bill. 12 times 500 is 6,000. That's over 5,000, so replacement is likely the smarter financial move.
And here's the thing, you don't have to wait for a total catastrophe. Most of these breakdowns, they don't just happen out of the blue. They're the result of small, neglected problems that build up over time. Being proactive is always your best offense. And just look at this data. This is not a small impact we're talking about. Simple, regular maintenance, cleaning coils, clearing out those drain lines, can prevent a staggering 70% of emergency summer service calls. Let that sink in. 70%. It is, by far, the single most effective defensive strategy you have. But look, sometimes a failure is just going to happen. When it does, the key is to have a calm, logical plan. A real professional response should always follow these 3 steps. First, dispatch and diagnosis to find the actual root cause. Second, a professional repair using quality parts. And third, testing and follow-up to make absolutely sure the problem is solved for good.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. This isn't about winning one little skirmish when your AC breaks. It's about winning the long-term war through understanding and strategy.
And right here, you can see the clear cost of this constant battle. In a nice, mild climate, an HVAC system might last 20 years, maybe even more. But in the brutal conditions of a place like Florida, that lifespan gets cut nearly in half, down to just 12 to 15 years. This war really does take a heavy toll. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? It's that your home's biggest defender is in a constant, location-specific fight. Your battle might not be Florida's heat and salt. Maybe it's Arizona's dust or Minnesota's brutal ice and snow. The enemy is unique to you, and understanding that enemy, that is the first step to winning. Which brings us to the final question, the one you really need to ask yourself. You now understand the unseen war your system is fighting. So, does your home have the right defense for its unique climate? Have you given it what it needs to win?